And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, your 2 days there or death. But you go. Well, I'm processed man of mine, and I'm telling you no lie. I work and breathe among the fumes that trail across the sky. There's thunder all around me, and there's poison in the air. There's a lousy smell that smacks of hell and dust all in the hair. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, your 2 days there or death. But you go. Well, I've worked among the spinners and I breathe the oily smoke. I've shoveled up the gypsum and
Fire makes you choke.
I stood knee deep in
Cyanide, got sick with a caustic burn. Been working rough, I've seen enough to make your stomach burn.
And it's go,
Boys go, they'll time your every breath.
and every day you're in this place, your 2 days there or death. But you go. There's overtime and bonus opportunities galore. The young men like their money and they all come back for more. But soon you're knocking on and you look older than you should. For every bob made on the job you paid with flesh and blood. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, your 2 days there or death. But you go. Well, I'm
This man of mine, I'm telling you no lies. I work and breathe among the fumes that spread across the sky. Thunder all around me and there's poison in the air. There's a lousy smell that smacks of hell and dust all in my hair. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, your 2 days near death. But you go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, your 2 days near death. But you go. Well, good evening, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? Thank you all for joining us. Anyway, it is Work in Progress Wednesday. Woohoo! Everybody cheered! Yay! And yeah, we've actually got we got several works in progresses now. Kyle from Giant Turtle Creations stopped by last night, and well, actually a couple nights ago, and dropped off a bunch of stuff. And so I'm going to be painting a couple more dice towers and some more mugs. But tonight, I'm going to be painting a sexy brain beast for Jeff, who has been watching. And so hopefully he'll watch tonight and he'll see how I do this. As I grab all the paints and stuff that I'm going to need for this evening. Close. There we go. So anyway, hope everybody's had a good week so far. It is Wednesday. We're halfway through. Whew, I had to go drop my car off to get some repairs done today. I had the oil pressure sensor was gone. It no longer wanted to work. And it said that if you don't get this fixed, then you could be spewing oil everywhere, and also your air conditioning could be hosed. And I'm like, well, it's, 90 degrees outside. Kind of want to get this done. So, got a quote, pretty good. Actually, didn't come off too bad, under $300. So I'm gonna call it a win. Anything under $1,000, super happy about. So got that taken care of. Which meant I went into work early, and then I had to leave work early to go pick up the car. So I'm kind of happy about that, but on the other hand, there was stuff that I needed to get done at work that I didn't get done. So that just means more stuff piling up for tomorrow. Yay, Thursday. Thursday. As Arthur Dent from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy has said, is today Thursday? I never could get the hang of Thursdays. I never really liked it that much. So anyway, we're going to get started, and we're going to be painting this wonderful little brain beast on this wonderful Work in Progress Wednesday. So here we go, everybody. Enjoy. Hello, hello. So here's the brain beast. Here is the brain beast. Meet George Jetson. Some of you are too young for this. Oh, there we go. There's the sweet spot. Right here. Okay. But yeah, here's the brain beast. So this wonderful, icky, tooth-filled maw. Some tentacles. This lovely big old brain. This is a 3D printed piece that Jeff sent me. So we're going to get started with that. And I need one more. Where did I put it again? Where is... Yeah, there we go. So we're going to be using some contrast paints, just because I primed it white, and I really want to see... Like, I know what the contrast paints do. I've been working with them now for a little while. But I want to see what they do on something about this size, and whether or not I'm going to really need to highlight it up a lot. I probably will, just because it's me. But I want to see exactly where we're going with this. So we've got... You know, I put that stupid thing away now. I need it. Where is it? That's not it. Where'd it go? Where'd I put it now? I need... There we go. Did I want to do... Yeah, I'll use some purple. So I've got... These are the contrast paints that I have here, along with an Army Painter Speed Paint. So we've got Volupus Pink, Blood Angels Red, Yandin Yellow, because it's one of my favorites, it covers so well, Skeleton Horde, probably going to use that for the teeth, and Hive Dweller Purple. And I'm debating on whether or not I want to use that Hive Dweller Purple on the tentacles or on this section here. I'm leaning more towards this section here, because we can go pinkish red into purple, into maybe another pink somewhere down here. I know that I want to use that Skeleton Horde for the teeth. So, yeah. So I'm going to grab a nice biggish brush, like so. Nice big brush. And we're going to grab our Volupus Pink. And for those of you watching, if you understand, I normally go darkest to lightest, right? That's like my modus operandi, okay? I'm not doing that tonight. Volupus Pink, while it is a darker pink, it's going to leave, since it's a contrast paint, it's going to leave a lighter shade up at the top, with the dark into the recesses, but it's still going to leave that pink up at the top. With the Blood Angels Red, though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a liner brush, and I'm going to go in all these little cracks and crevices of the brain. So I'm not highlighting per se, I'm shading down into the recesses of where we want that dark red to be. And then we kind of will do the same thing with some of the other areas. You know, here green goes pretty well. I might grab some green maybe for some areas. We'll see. Maybe the tops of the tentacles, and I go pink underneath. I don't know. We'll see. For right now, we're going to take our Volupus Pink, and we're just going to start... Oh, that's cool. Alright. We're just going to start getting in there. See how it's, you know, the darker areas are going to really get down into those cracks and crevices here. See, that looks pretty darn cool already. If I was doing this just for tabletop, that would be frickin' perfect. But I'm not. You can see, like, I'm still missing some areas, so we kind of want to go over it a couple of times. Oh man, oh, it looks pretty gross already. Jeff's gonna love it. His wife might not. Quincy might hate it, but Jeff, I think, is gonna get a kick out of it. But yeah, I primed up a bunch of stuff last night because it was finally cool enough to do so. There's a little bit of hair right there. That's good. So as you can see, when it dries, it's leaving more of a lighter shade up here, which is just fine. We're getting those nice darker shades. In fact, I'm going to start bringing some darker and bring some of that back up this way. That's kind of what we're going for. Now we'll start darkening it after that dries a little bit more. And what I want to do now is take a little bit of this Ugandan yellow. I'm just taking it right out of the pot here. And we're just gonna right in through here. You can even mix a little bit of that pink in, just like that. There we go. Blind Jedi, how you doing? Interesting looking model. Yeah, this is the Brain Beast that my friend Jeff asked me to paint up for him. It's a 3D printed beastie. Just getting started on him. We're just using some contrast paint for the fun of it. I want to see kind of where my highlights and shadows are going to be. That's enough of that. We're going to go back to our pink here actually. We got to get in the mouth here. And this is some Hive Dweller purple. I think I'm going to go with this because it's a little bit darker purple. We're going to go with this section right here. Flip this thing upside down. Oh, what's happening? You made it. How was the movie? My day is going pretty well. It was a weird one. It was alright. It's like I went into work late and then I had to leave early because I had to get my car fixed today, so it was drop it off at 9, so I didn't get in. Well, I dropped it off at like a quarter to 9, so I actually clocked in at like a little after 9 o'clock this morning, which is like an hour late. No big deal. But then the place was closing at 5 o'clock and they got it done at like 1:30 or something like that. So I'm like, well, it means we have to get off at 4:30 so my mother-in-law can pick us up and take us to the place so that we can get this thing taken care of. So, kind of a short day for me, work-wise. But then I went to go get the oil changed at a different place because we didn't. They don't do, or they do oil changes, but we weren't going to do it, right? I should have had them do it there because I took it to Valvoline and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can't do oil changes right now for your car because we don't have oil filters." What? What do you mean you don't have oil filters? Yeah, we need to get our shipment today. Oh, fun. Which I totally understand. In my job right now, we don't have any batteries for the power wheelchairs. So, yeah, the longest, shortest day, absolutely. So I'm like, well, fine. Went and got some Chinese food because I've been craving Chinese food for a while. And then got home, put some stuff away. Kim, my wife, had gone shopping with her mom. Put some stuff away. And got a shower taken. And now I'm here. We're painting this weird brain beastie. You figured out a better camera setup for your painting on stream. You're quite excited for it. Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Come on now. Look at soak up the paint. There we go. This one is a commission. Some of the others that you were seeing me paint on Monday night, they're my own. That's my own stuff. I'll use them for D&D or whatever. Or maybe I'll get lucky and I'll sell them at a convention that I attend. So I don't know. We'll see. If they go, they go. If they don't, whatever. I'll find a spot for them. But I got a ton of minis. So, but this one is actually for my friend Jeff. LED, who's in, I don't know if he's watching tonight, but he's I'm in Minnesota and just in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and he's over in Hudson, Wisconsin, which is only like 45 minutes to an hour away. So he mailed me this, and I'll probably either meet him or go there. You need a mini tour? Oof, I can't do it with this camera. Because it's attached to my stuff. Technically, I mean, all of my minis are behind me in the game room. Send a vid in a Discord later. Okay, yeah, I could probably do that. Just use the phone. But yeah, I've got just shelves of figures and stuff. So I've got carrying case. In fact, I just got a new carrying case. Oh, it's not. It's in the other room. It's not again. But yeah, I still have stuff in the packaging that I have to paint at some point in time. So I really need to plug my phone in because it's almost dead. There we go. But back to this gnarly critter. Where is... But yeah, I'll get you a vid of the collection. I just got some new... I just got some new cowboy figures that I'm going to be using for my Outlaws and Law Dogs game. I got sucked in, man. I saw them and I'm like, I have to buy these, and I have money. So it was like 7 figures for like 25 bucks. They're 3D printed lawmen. They're very cool. The poses are great. I think I'm gonna have to paint them on stream because they're just that cool. This is a great green, by the way. Oh, this is very alien. I like it. I like it a lot. I do. Yeah, I like that green. Okay. Yeah, I've got all kinds of stuff. I've got Critical Role minis. I've got Reaper minis. Star Wars figures. Old minis. From like the 70s and 80s old minis. Before I was even painting minis. Before you were even born, Owl. I was still a kid when these things came out. So just a wee bit older than you is all. Just a wee bit. So, Al, I didn't want to come into your stream and be all like, you're doing it wrong. So I hope I didn't do that. I think people should paint the way that they like to paint. But it's sometimes easier when you get somebody to go, well, try this, or try that. So, if I ever come across as overstepping my bounds, just let me know. Because I can do that. I'm pretty passionate about this hobby. And I've just been doing it for so freaking long that I just want people to be the best they can be at it. And if some people they just want to slap paint and have fun, great. If you're having fun, that's all that matters. Did the golem come out okay? Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for tabletop, then heck yeah. You don't need it to be freaking perfect. You just need it to be gross and gory, right? If you're using it for a game, it's all good. Uh, if you were going to do a competition with it, then you'd want to do some more stuff to it. You'd want to maybe base it and put something cool on that, and highlight up the pink and red areas. If there's some muscle tone or something, you might want to highlight that up. But heck, man, if you're just using it for your D&D game, you're golden. That's why, I mean, I'm not. I'm. To me, this is cheating, right? Like using the contrast paints. Granted, I'm just using these as like base coats because then I'm going to highlight up from there. Maybe I'm going to be doing some shading on the, the pink here with some red. But if I was just needing this for a game, say tomorrow night, which I do have a game night tomorrow night, um, then this is great. Yeah, that was easily the most highlights you've ever done on a mini. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing is that once you get going, you'll be like, oh, I need to highlight that, or I need to shade that, or something along those lines. You'll start seeing stuff the more you do it. And then you'll go, oh, I can do a base for this, so I'm going to grab a big base, or I'm going to grab a little square inch base or something like that, and put this mini on there, and then start doing your highlights, or start doing building your base up to what you think that figure might be standing on. Is it grass? Is it desert? Is it icy, cold, whatever? So I build up little stories in my head when it comes to figures. Like I think this guy is I don't know, looks like some kind of astral brain monster. So maybe maybe he's like Spelljammer type stuff. And he's living in the astral sea. Or he's just a dungeon denizen and he's waiting for the next meal to come by. So if I was going to do a cool, display base or something like that for him, I might do something. Might do something similar to this. Ooh, get it in the camera. There we go. Which you can't really see. Over here. There we go. With these columns and these colors and washes and stuff like that. Because you can kind of see that, in the center of something like this, this nice big plastic base. Build up stuff around it using some milliput or some technical paint from GW or something like that to kind of, fill it in, and then you just paint it, prime it and paint it all. So I think that looks pretty cool. I like that green. It'll be cool to start highlighting that up. So it's got all these really great little lines. I think you can really put some like some really creepy like neon green or skin over the top of that. All right. We're gonna go back to the pink because I think I want to use that on the underside of the tentacles here. That is a great question. I'll ask, so how does one go about commissioning? Do you look at the piece and price it, or is it an hourly rate thing? I used to look at a piece and price it, and then I was talking with some other commission painters, and they're like, charge an hourly fee, and charge, basically charge what you make per hour at your day job. I was like, oh, okay. So when I first got started, I was charging $10 an hour. And people are like, sweet, I just want an hour. I'm like, it's got to be a little bit more than that because it takes me, X amount of hours to paint a mini, right? At the time it was like 3 or 4. So $40, right? Well, now I can get a figure done in about 2 hours. So I went from charging $10 per hour to then it was 15, and now I'm charging $20 per hour with a 2-hour minimum because I can get a figure done in 2 hours. So most folks are okay with a 2-hour minimum. They get a good, well painted figure. That's I would call it high tabletop, right? And then others are like, well, how about you put like 4 hours into it? I'm like, okay, cool. I can put more detail into it. I can get more layers and shading in, and do some really cool stuff with skin and hair and whatnot. And then every once in a while, I get the person that'll say, yeah, can you do this to make it look as close to the box art as possible? And I'll be like, yeah, but it's going to take me like 10 to 20 hours. Okay. Deal. So, like that dragon head that I posted in the Discord, that right there is just primer. I just primed it up last night. I'm going to start on it. I probably won't stream it because the darn thing is just too big. And it won't really fit on camera very well. But that thing is going to take me a long freaking time. And the thing is, though, is I'm kind of in a rush for that because I have to have it done by the second weekend of July is when the convention is. And it's going in the art show. So I have to put a ton of time into that because pieces sell in the art show. And I'm really hoping that somebody will like it and buy it. And then Giant Turtle and I are going to split the proceeds. Because that wasn't given to me. That was, hey, can you? We're gonna do this together, kind of a thing. So I've got to work my butt off on that one. The other thing too is to find your niche in the mini painting arena. You know, you're not always going to be. You know, there's always going to be somebody better than you. There's always going to be somebody worse than you. Um, you know, you're because you got up and coming painters. You know, you got people that have been painting for as long as I have, or longer, or they just know more and different techniques than you do. So find your niche. Like I found my niche here in the Twin Cities. Just say, I'm a tabletop painter. I paint stuff for people to play with. You know, if you want a display piece, I can do that. But I would rather see you play with it. You know, put it on the table. Get your friends excited. Oh, that's a cool figure. Where'd you get that? Oh, I had Midwest Miniature Guy paint it. Sweet. Do you have his information? Yeah, here you go. So then it's just all word of mouth. That's how I think a ad is right. That's how I've built my business, is just word of mouth. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. I'm hoping that people like what I do with it and that somebody really likes it and wants to buy it. My friend Charles Erbach found his niche, and he does, like, when you first look at his artwork, it looks like a normal, you know, piece of oil painting, basically. But as you get to really look at it, especially the originals, he does everything in colored pencil, and it's marvelous. And he's done stuff for Magic the Gathering and Legends of the Five Rings and Star Wars and, you know, a lot of collectible card game type stuff. But he's also done work for Origins Game Day or Game Fair and um, Dragon Con out in Atlanta. So yeah, he's Gary Con. He's done Gary Con stuff. That's the other part too. There, Alice, is try to go to conventions that are in your area, or even travel to a few others if you get a chance. You know, we've got some great ones out here in the Midwest. We've got Gamehole Con coming up in October. Gary Con is coming up next March. Convergence is this almost at January, this July. So there's a ton of stuff coming up out in this area. You know, Gen Con I think is in August. That's out in Indianapolis. But there's a few others. There's Genghis Con, which is in Denver. Um, Con of the North is here in Minneapolis in February. That's my hometown one. It's the one I actually vendor at. So I will be talking that one up when it gets closer. Okay, so we got the pink tentacles, or the underneath of the tentacles anyway. So I'd like to see if there's anything else I can do on these. A little bit of white still there. Bit of white there. Basically just want to make sure that there's no more white primer showing. Alright, cool. Some other advice there too, Al, is just to talk to people. Talk to other painters. There's so much knowledge out there. James Wapple, he's a great one. Dr. Faust is. Both these guys are on Twitch, by the way. They have some great techniques. I've been watching those guys for years. Okay, so now we're going to take our Blood Angels here. Blood Angels Red. We're taking a smaller brush, and we're just going to use this as a liner. Right in, like so. Just had an idea. So, when I was talking on Monday, I was talking about Lamia medium, which is this stuff. So this is going to thin the contrast paints out a little bit, but it's still going to keep the opaqueness of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 2, 3, 4 brushfuls of our Blood Angels Red here. So we don't contaminate it, because we don't want to get any red paint into the medium. And we're going to take 1, 2, 3 brushfuls of medium. And we're going to mix it into our contrast paint. Like I said, this is going to thin it down a little bit, but it's going to keep the opacity. And I've realized that I like to paint quickly, so instead of messing around, I mean there's a few minis that I'll take my time on, but instead of messing around, I'm just going to use this contrast paint and medium mix, and I'm just going to layer it right over the pink that we used. Because it'll get down into the cracks and crevices, almost not like a wash to an extent, more like a stain. We can still see some of that pink coming through. But it's definitely getting down into the cracks and crevices where we want it to be. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. It shouldn't take very long. I'm going to put this down here. And that's it. I mean, that's what the medium does. It just thins it down a little bit, just enough. It still maintains that opacity so that you can go back and start working on that. Letting that dry, and then we're going to go grab some other areas here. I need... This thing's creepy enough. Let's grab some... So we've got some Fresh Blood Red. We've got some Breast Cancer Awareness Pink. We've got some Witchcraft Purple. I think I want to get some green and this yellow, and a little bit of dragon white. So we're not doing too bad. We got just about an hour in. So we use that Hive Mind Purple on this section. And while it's okay, it's not exactly where I want it to be. So it's good that we use that kind of as a stain to get a decent dark color in, because I'm going to use a little bit of this Witchcraft Purple here. I'm just going to start doing a mid-tone kind of over the top. I want this thing kind of looking otherworldly. That's why I'm using such different bright colors. Oh, thanks, Al. I appreciate that. I'm glad you found me too. It's awesome. Painting has been a balm to my soul for quite a while. Just something I can come downstairs and do. Sometimes I'll have some music on, sometimes I'll just have a video on, or maybe another streamer friend of mine, watching them either role play or just chat or something. And just sometimes I just like to come down here and be quiet and not have anything going. Just sit and chat, and or not sit and just sit and paint and be quiet for a while. Because the job that I'm in, I work for a durable medical equipment company. I'm in the service support department. So I take all the calls of all the angry people that their manual wheelchairs, their power wheelchairs, or their patient lifts, or whatever, are broken and they need to be fixed. And we try not to drop the ball too much. But we always have, we always get the angry customers that, their stuff is broken, they got to get it fixed right now because they're going to go on a trip this weekend and, stuff like that. And it's like, well, you're asking us to kind of do the impossible, especially without any parts to fix your chair. And so yeah, there are definite days where I'm just like, you know what, I'm kind of done. I'm just gonna go paint for a while and not be around people, because sometimes people just suck. So I'm gonna try and grab a little bit of this flesh color here. See if there's any left. I hope it didn't all dry out, especially in a wet palette that's not supposed to. We're going to mix that into our purple, because I don't want to use white yet. I don't want to go too pale yet. Hey, you know what? Everybody has their own, way of painting, of relaxing. I'm a drummer, so, I get it. I grew up playing, hard rock, heavy metal music, prog rock, stuff like that. Played in my church, playing a Irish punk rock band right now. Never thought I'd be playing in one of those. So, but I get, I'll be 48 this year, man. So, I think age has a little bit of it to do with it. And for me, if I get too busy chatting, then I don't get anything done. So I have to reel back my chatting a little bit so I can actually paint. So kind of using the side of my brush and doing a little bit of an overbrush here on the underside. I'm not going to be too delicate with that. I'm just going to get it done. a little bit of ivory left here. You've been building D&D terrain since your stream ended? Nice. What kind of terrain are you building? Currently building a church. Nothing too crazy, no roof or anything, but it'll be dope. Nice. That'd be cool. Can't wait to see it. Alright, so we add a little ivory into our purple. What's my normal bedtime? Like midnight. So let's see. Midnight here would be 10 p.m. there. I'm kind of a night owl. That could be. That's when you start streaming. Well, not tonight, considering I'm starting late. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, like I said, I'm still kind of old man here, so I still have to get up at like 7 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So I'd be work by 8, though I work from home, so I can just roll into my office and in my pajamas and turn the computer on and go. On the weekends, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. Do I ever paint while working? No, but I will draw. I take too many phone calls to paint while I'm working. And this is kind of like my downtime relaxation hobby job. So, but I will do some drawing. I'll do some writing for my D&D game or my Outlaws and Law Dogs game. But otherwise, I'll work on the comic strip that I like to noodle on, called Thursday Night Dice. It's about our game group. I haven't really posted it anywhere except for on my personal Facebook page, so maybe someday I'll get that itch to do so. Yeah, that was actually one of my worries when I first started working from home, or, you know, was talking with Kim about it, and she's like, well, all your painting stuff is downstairs, and we're going to have our office upstairs, so it really won't be a distraction. I'm like, yes, but I know it's there. But for the most part, I don't worry about it. I get my painting done in the evening. I'll come downstairs right around 7:30 or 8 o'clock and just start plugging away on stuff. So that's where we're at with that. I think that's as far bright I'm going to go. We still got, you know, purple showing. I don't want to go white. That's as far as I'm going to go on that. So now I'm going to mix our breast cancer awareness pink. I'm going to do about a drop of that, drop and a half, into our fresh blood red. And grab a different brush for this. We're just going to mix this together. Because I don't want a super bright pink yet for the brain. Yep. Sorry, I'm being a little quiet here. Just trying to get all the little brain, upraised brain areas here. You can kind of see the difference now as we're coming through. We're starting to do this mid-tone here. Hey, Blind Jedi, what's going on? Thank you. Yeah, just starting to get like the midtones on now. We've highlighted up the middle purple section here. Now we're going to go in and start work on the brain. What are we going to do tonight, brain? Try to take over the world. See, we got about 5 people watching. Hello, if you're new to the stream, hello, hello. My name is Tom. I am a Midwest Miniature Guy, and I paint minis for gamers and collectors, and every once in a while for myself. We talk about just about everything here too, so feel free to hop in the chat. Love chatting with folks. I love it. That's great. I'm just laughing at myself. It's fine. Oh, I'm not gonna go that far. Not gonna go that far. I do okay. But thank you for remembering my full name. I appreciate it. Okay, so that will be our third layer onto the brain part. So we're going to add a little bit more pink into our pink and red mix here. Okay, let's see here. I think it's time we start doing a little bit of texturing. So I'm just going to start dotting some areas here. If we're doing zenithal highlighting with this light coming straight down, up here is where we're going to have most of our highlights. Down here is where we're going to have our shadows. So we're going to try and highlight way up here. Hopefully you can see that I'm only doing like little sections. Like I'm leaving the darker areas down here, especially down in the recesses of the brain. Just kind of hitting the top parts here. I don't think I'll do that one. I'll do this here. Just kind of picking and choosing where I'm putting the highlights now. Up here there's going to be more because light's saying, shiny new paints. Hello, hello. How are you? Thanks for popping in. Welcome. Appreciate you stopping by. That's a first for what? Seeing a sexy brain creature here. He's gonna rattle my friend Jeff's dungeon, I'm sure. Being called shiny new paints. Oh, shiny Mew paints. I'm sorry. I thought. So this is how bad my eyesight is. That's why I wear readers. But I looked up real quick. Shiny Mew paints. My apologies. Yep, I see that. Yep. Thank you for the correction. As Al will let you know, I am old enough to be his dad, so... Thank you. Al, it's even funnier, okay? Because I have a much older daughter from a much previous relationship when I was in high school. She was born in like 92, so she's pushing 30 right now. And she's got a couple of kids. So I've never met him. She did. It's a little big long story, but she was adopted, and because I couldn't keep her, her mom couldn't keep her. Um, so I've only talked with her on the phone a couple of times, and texts and stuff. But so yeah, she actually made me a grandpa like 10 years ago. Better than anything you're painting? I'm sure you're doing fine, Shiny Mew. Don't ever compare yourself to other painters like I do. No, it's like I was telling Al. Everybody's got their niche. Grandpa Nelson, hell yeah, yeah. That's. I'm hoping that when my daughter with my wife has children, that they call me Papa. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I had a Papa when I was much younger, and I only knew him a little bit. Like I remember his face and sitting on his lap, and that's about it. I was very young, like 2 or 3, probably 2. I think he died when I was like 3 or 4. But he was my great grandpa. But he was Papa. I vaguely remember him being a very sweet man. To your credit, you've only been painting for a year and a half. Nice. Hey, thank you for the sound alert. Appreciate it. Yep. Yep. And for the follow. Alright, so now I think we're going to go straight up Breast Cancer Awareness Pink here. Well, just to give you a little heads up here, Shiny, I've been painting for like 20 some odd years, so. Yeah, if you want to post an Instagram link, absolutely. Always up for taking a look at stuff. So long as this is not X-rated, because I try to keep this as a family show. That's why I don't swear. Either that or you'd hear me. Yeah, man. If there's any younger kids watching, I want to make sure that they're not being overly influenced by my language and more influenced by the paint jobs. It's okay, Dubs. It's okay. No, I'm the same way. You should hear me at work. Not with customers, but oh my gosh, just after I get off the phone. Whew. There has been a lot of "Are you effing kidding me?" kind of a thing lately. It's like. Then I hear my wife in the other office. Just breathe. Yeah. I'm breathing. So as you see, I'm just starting to do like little dots here now. I'm just trying to pick out those kind of weird, bumpy, raised area where that brain matter is. Like so. So you can kind of tell the difference now from over here to over here. I will look at that link in just a second there, Shiny. Give me 1 second. Got a lot of paint on this brush here, so I could get it used up. God, I haven't been called by my last name in forever. It was also like a literal shock, like when my daughter started grade school when she was a kid, and the first Mr. Nelson. What, huh? Who are you talking to? Oh, me. Oh, crap, I'm a Mr. Nelson now. Discord DMs when you get a chance. Okay. Okay, so this is a pretty good stopping point. Get some water, check some messages, look at that link. Good shiny put. So we got half of the brain highlighted. Here's the other half. Alright, let's check that link real quick. Let's see what Shiny sent us. Doop. Doop. Oh, that's cool. Those are ears. I think. I can't. My dumb eyes. That is really cute. Well done, Shiny. Yeah, all good. All good, Al. She's got big old ears and she's got such a sassy pose. Yeah, that's great. That's a really cool figure you got there. Did you sculpt that? Or just paint it? I mean, either way, that's super cool. And heck, only for a year and a year and a half or something like that. No, it's good stuff. I would just work on your so that, like I was telling Owl on Monday night, like the miniature painter's mantra is deeper shadows and higher highlights. So kind of like what I'm doing here is like I'm going from a pretty dark, dark red, up to a mid pink, up to a bright pink, up to even a brighter pink, up to I'll probably add white into the pink so I can get like the super higher highlights. But if I did a pink contrast paint over a white primer. Then I used like the Blood Angels red over that. um, just to darken it down a little bit more. Now I'm bringing it all kind of back up. So that's kind of the what I go with. That, and I grew up drawing comic book characters, so a lot of my stuff is kind of comic book based when it comes to painting minis. No, you ordered it off of Etsy from a dude called Gallivanter Men's, and the sculpt is by Twin Goddess. Hey, that's neat. Okay, I gotta show you guys something. Hold on. 2 minutes. Actually, probably not even that. Give me a second. So, first of all, I'm going to go into my other scene here. This is the dragon head that I'm going to be painting for Giant Turtle Creations. It's 3D printed. I just got it primered up last night. So it's got a nice dark blue primer on the top, a nice white primer on the bottom, because I'm going to do kind of like I'm going for kind of like a gold scales on the bottom with like nice bright blues and purples on the top, and then of course some bone color for the horns and the teeth. I found a really cool way of painting the tongue with like doing striping and then doing some dotting, but it's got such a great mouth. It goes all the way back in there with some super cool detail. So I can't wait to paint this up. This is going to be a lot of fun. Probably won't be able to do it on stream because it's just too big. I have to hold it here and have lights around me so I can see exactly where I'm going. But I will be posting work in progress photos as I start on this on Discord, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Discord. Those are my 4 socials that I use. So this is the this is the big monster that I have to have done by the second weekend in June or July. I'd say by June I'd be late, but yeah. So that's my big project. But I wanted to show you guys this. This is kind of my pride and joy. I love showing this thing off. My buddy Ian printed this for me after my mom passed in 2021. And he sent it to him and he's like, hey, I hear you're going through kind of a rough patch. So in February and March of 2021, I lost 5 people. And it wasn't to COVID. It was like all different medical stuff. Actually, excuse me, I lost 4 people in like 3 weeks' time. And then in July of that year, my father-in-law passed away. So 2021 sucked. Like 2020, even with the pandemic, was fine because we were just at home or doing whatever. But 2021 sucked. But this is my, yeah, thank you. This is my pride and joy. I absolutely love this model. If anybody made me like a really serious offer on it, I might let it go. But this is my frost giant that I painted. If this guy was fully standing up, like not bending down any whatever, he'd probably be about this tall. He's super huge. My buddy Ian printed this off for me. This is an Artisan Guild miniature, and I'm going to go back to... So I'll go to scene 2 here. So you can see all the cool details. Come on this guy. Look at that guy's face. Just his beard. The belt. Like he's got an axe strapped to his leg here. He's got dwarven belts, or dwarven shields as like part of his belt. He's got a hammer, dwarven hammer right here, along with a dwarven skull still inside the helm on his wrist here. Got a barrel of mead. Another shield. He's just a super cool figure, and I love this shield here. This one's great. You're good? Okay. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. I think my personal favorite part of it, I mean, is the belt and the leathers here. I love doing leathers. Oh, I forgot he's got a couple of swords. A couple of swords right here. But yeah, I love the, for me it's the beard and the face. I was actually able to do the eyes. So they actually have some like blue color to them. But this is a 30+ hour paint job. So this, and it was posted up on, I did it all on Twitch, and I think I posted it to YouTube. But yeah, this took me a long time because I was doing like 2-hour stints. So like the beard itself is like 2 hours. You know, the face was 2 hours. The horns were 2 hours. That's the horns on the helmet and these, because I was doing both at the same time. You know, the skin took me for freaking forever. But just hitting each little spot. It'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do the leathers, and dinking around. So, but yeah, this is my pride and joy is my frost giant. Really love that one. Oh, that's cool, Shiny. You're alright. I had Chinese food for dinner tonight. I think the salt content is making me super thirsty, so I'm down in water like crazy. Alright, back to highlighting our brain. There's a phrase I never thought I'd say. And now back to highlighting our brain. Alright. How's the lighting and the camera and everything? Look alright? Look good? Yeah, I think we're looking alright. Go back to that. Alright. I don't know exactly what the web camera is, but the camera that I'm using for this scene right here is a Canon EOS Rebel T5 with a 50mm lens on it. So that's what I'm using for this shot right here. The little webcam that I'm using for the left hand corner. Ooh, I'd have to pick it up to look at it. I don't know exactly what it is. My buddy gave it to me. So, I'm not a tech guy. I have no idea what some of this stuff does. I just know that it works, and it's like the extent of my computer nerdiness. Most of my nerdiness goes to painting minis, role-playing games, drawing, writing adventures for role-playing games. Well, I should say homebrew adventures for, my groups and stuff. I haven't published anything. I don't know if I ever could. Most of my stuff is so stolen from other people's materials. It's like, oh, I couldn't publish this if I wanted to. I could run it, just can't publish it. Like I had a 12-year D&D game. I called it the Galadania Chronicles. There was a bunch of people that came in and out of that game. Had a blast. And but it was a total rip-off of Game of Thrones. Total rip-off. I was using names, but like interchanging them with other people, and then there was some areas that were totally of my own making. Like I wasn't using like Westeros or anything like that, but I love the name Winterfell, so I was using that. And some of the character names. One of the player characters actually ended up killing King Joffrey, so that actually worked pretty well. Okay, so that side didn't take very long. That is done. And yes, I know I've still got the pink to do underneath. I want to get this done first. So I'm just going to add a little white. Very little white. That's probably too much, actually, but I'll mix it in here. Mix it in, mix it in. Well, Shiny, I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. I hope you come back. If you have any questions about painting, please let me know. Be happy to help you out. That's what I'm here for. Alright, we're doing probably the final highlight here. We mix some white into our pink. Literally doing like little dots of white, not white, but sorry, brain not functioning. Hold on. Rebooting. if I could find it, maybe next stream I'll grab it. But I should find my very first miniature that I painted, so you can see the start. Because it was never this. Yeah, I've learned a ton of stuff over the 20 years I've been painting. Still learning stuff. Still trying to figure out object source lighting. Still trying to figure out non-metallic metal and how to make like certain metals shine. It's all about practice. Alright. That looks pretty darn good. I'm going to leave this kind of orangey yellow just like that. I'm not going to mess around with it. I'm going to take our green. And this is, so you guys don't think I'm swearing or saying a bad word, this is Naga green. N-A-G-A green. And this is where we start on the tentacles. 53 already. Let's see how far I get before my back says we're done. I'm kind of using the side of my brush on some of this just to get the top here. You know, it looks like not much is changing because this is pretty close to the green that I use, so I'm just kind of trying to get a little bit more of a balanced tone, because there was some that was like super light and some that was super dark. I'm just trying to go in and balance it out a little bit here with this green. Okay, that looks pretty darn good. Kind of a second base coat for the most part. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit of this yellow into our green. So we got our base coat, we got our shadow, we got our second base coat. Now we're going for our mid-tone. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see, that's going to be in shadow, so we're going to grab these here. just going to use the top of the side of my brush here for these. Just want to get the top of the tentacles here. Sorry, I got focus there. Just trying to get this green on. Grab my size 0 brush here. I'm going to mix in a little bit more yellow into our green. More yellow into our green. Hopefully you can see the highlights coming along here. Right along the tentacles. Right along the top, right through here. Sometimes you need to set it down to see where your light's going to be at. It's still coming down here, so I'm not highlighting down here, but it will be getting little spots right through there. Looking here, looks like we got right here. This tentacle is pretty easy because it's pretty much all this section right here. So now we're going to do add some more yellow into our green with a little bit of white. So we really want to start brightening this up. Alright, and I think we're just going to go with like little dots here. Specifically with like these areas right here. There, that's the color that we're kind of going for. Hey, thanks, Al. Have a great time with the movies. Have fun with whatever you're seeing. Thanks for the lurk. I appreciate it. Be safe out there, my friend. Ugh. See, that's my hand every once in a while. Just will drop stuff. It's my neuropathy kicking in. Thankfully, nothing damaged, so we're alright. Sorry, I'm so used to painting up here. I like to learn to paint down here. make sure that I get all the little details here. Okay. There is all of the green done. So we can put all these paints away. Everybody cheered. Yay. Purple can go away, white can go away. Go back to this pink. Guess I can hold the top of it now. And with this, I'm going to just kind of do a quick overbrush. Just like so. Catching the sides of these. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go on the tentacles underneath. I don't think they need to be any brighter because they're going to be like that. You're not going to see them too much. You might see, let's see a little bit here. Just on the tips, I think. So, we're going to use a little bit of, what is this, a polished bone. And this is what we're going to use for the teeth. Add just a little bit of white to that. Mix that in. I think it looks good. I think there's too much more I would do. See if there's any fleshy tone left here. Putting a little bit of flesh tone in a creature tends to freak people out. So I could add some like around the gums. do is got a little bit of Reikland Flush Shade here. I'm just going to run it right in here. There. Alright, I'm calling it done. It's almost 11 o'clock. Good, close enough to 3 hours on it. I quoted him 4, so I actually got it done in less time. So that's pretty darn good. So whew. So yeah, I'll get some photos of it up and put them up on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Discord. So if you want to follow me on any of those, the links should be down in the hoobity-doo in the descriptions of in the about section, or the links that I've got. Well, thank you all for watching tonight. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you come back. Would love to see you again. Aldubs, Road Girl, Steamfarer, Shiny Mew Paints, Blind Jedi, as always. Good to see you folks. And yeah, I will be back on Sunday at 8 o'clock for some more painting. So, hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have a great rest of your evening. And as always, happy painting, folks. Bye.